Alright guys, here's another video that you guys wanted me to do, and in this video we'll be talking about the Mannequins. Who are the Mannequins? The Mannequins are the descendant of African American Colonial Marines who ended up leaving the United States and then settling in Trinidad and Tobago, especially the southern part. So if we look at a map, the Mannequins settled in an area close to where Guaguayere is. It's in Moruga and the Naparima Plain. So how did these African Americans, who would later become known as the Mannequins, get there? Well, it all goes back to the War of 1812. So background information, as I always like to use so that people can have context. During the War of 1812, it was a war between the United States and Great Britain. And in order for African Americans to want to side with the British, or basically for them to get their freedom, one of the things they could do was join the British military. And that was example would be the Colonial Marines. There was about 6 company of them, of black men who fought for the British, and that was given by one of the commanders. After the War of 1812 was over, with the Treaty of Ghent being signed, these African Americans will leave with that British commander, and at first they were stationed in Bermuda, and they were about to be transmitted to the West India Regiment, but they refused to do that, so they ended up getting transferred to Trinidad and Tobago. And the governor there, by the name of Sir Ralph Woodford, wanted to increase the amount of small farmers in the region, so therefore he wanted those Americans to come in. Now, they, like I said, they would settle in the south of the island. Now, there was a huge gender ratio, so it was about 400 to as much as 800 of them, particularly black men, that would go there, 200 women and children. So in order to balance out the ratio, they basically got black women from slave ships, or they tried to encourage black women from other areas to balance out the sex ratio. Now, the area was kind of very difficult because there was not that many roads connected there. Most of the population wasn't Baptist, as the American population was. They did ended up getting 16 acres of land for each of them. They were able to establish a community in that area, and they became self-sufficient. Many of them chose to stay there, and their descendants still live today. For example, there's a woman by the name of Hazel Manning. She was a Trinidadian senator and an educational minister. And you also have Brett Sancho, who was a footballer and minister of sports for Trinidad and Tobago. Their descendants still live there today. They still are self-sufficient. They still live off the land. They're still Baptist, so they still have remained their culture. And one of the things that they did bring to Trinidad and Tobago as well was they did bring rice from Africa to the Low Country to Trinidad and Tobago. And this, y'all, is the African-American connection to Trinidad and Tobago and how we helped each other's community. And let's not forget there was also another Trinidadian man by the name of Stokely Carmichael who was influential in African-American politics.